Welcome to episode 2 of the PWHL Power Rankings. It's been a good week. We've seen a lot more games and we have a lot more of a sense of where things are at. Let's get into it. Coming in once again at number 6 is Toronto. I'm sorry, Toronto. Unfortunately, just didn't cut it this week. And I hate to be brutal about it because they're like a really good team. There's no reason why this should be happening. They're playing really, really well, but also not. You know, it's just something missing, something that's not quite there yet. And so for that reason, they're number 6. Sucks. Sorry, Toronto. I was watching that game. Well, I've watched all the games, but I was watching the game yesterday against Ottawa, and they were just getting outscored all the time. Like, all the time. They were just getting outscored, like outshot. The shots on goal were just like, in the first half, were completely lopsided in Ottawa's favor, and the goals reflected that. They lost 5-1, and that's like a consistent theme in Toronto's game so far. Is besides the one win they had against New York, they've just been able to put up one goal. That win against New York counted for something, but it's just sad for Toronto right now. I really hope they can pick things up. They're such a good team. They're such good players and good coaching. So they're coming in at number 6. In at number 5, dropping quite a bit this week, is New York. New York has only ever been able to win that one game against Toronto, and then they lost to Toronto, and then they lost some more. So they're going to be number 5 this week. Sorry, New York. That was quite a drop. They had some good goaltending, but they've just not been able to make it happen. So coming in at number 5 is New York. In at number 4, we have Boston. This was really tough because Boston hasn't actually had the chance to play a lot of games with the one game being canceled. So we've seen them play Montreal. We saw them play Minnesota and Montreal. And they won in overtime against Montreal, which was great. And then they lost to Minnesota. Two better teams in terms of standings and whatnot. But, again, we haven't seen them play a lot. So the win against Montreal was good. That was an overtime victory. So that was nice to see. Montreal is a great team. And then losing to Minnesota, that was also a really close game. But in at number 4, we have Boston. I'm excited to see Boston play more. I think they have a really good team with a lot of good players and a lot of potential. So hopefully that will go well for them, and we'll see what happens with them next week. But for this week, they're going to be in at number 4. At number 3 in your power rankings, Ottawa. I really like this Ottawa team. We haven't been able to see them play much because of the canceled game, but the games we have seen, they have been playing extremely well. In fact, it wouldn't surprise me if Ottawa just took the whole thing, because they're just such a strong, fast, physical team, and they are able to control the play. So the big game for them, it was the win against Toronto, where they just absolutely dominated that game, putting up a lot of goals, a lot of shots on net, a lot of physicality. And for that reason, they're going to be in at number 3. With the game that they lost that in overtime, so they still get some points for that. And they did put up a good fight against Montreal. So, I really did agonize over this with the 3 and the 4 spots, even the 2 and the 3 spots, because they've all just been playing so good. Ultimately, side note, this is a small league. There are 6 teams. There are no bad teams in this league that I can see right now. It's not like the NHL, where there are clearly some just bad teams. I don't think it's a big stretch to say San Jose Sharks, the 2023-2024 version, they really suck, They have been playing very poorly, et cetera, et cetera. But with the PWHL, we don't have that problem. We have a wealth of talent, a wealth of good players, and so that does make it really hard to rank these teams. But so that's why I'm putting Ottawa at number 3, because I just see that, and again, this goes back to my highly scientific power rankings based on vibes. They're playing so good, and they're so strong, and I do think, when they get those matchups against good teams, they are able to take it. And I could see them winning it all. This might be a little bit of a controversial one to come in at number 2, but I'm putting Montreal here. They've played quite a few games. They've won some, they've lost some. They won in overtime against Ottawa. They lost to Minnesota they won, and then they lost 5-2 against New York. Poulin got a hat trick. So they're wildly all over the place, putting up 5 goals in one game, none in the next. It was really hard, but I just see like a lot of strength on this team. Like obviously like Poulin is like the best player in the world right now. One of, and with I don't know, this is a highly scientific power rankings based on vibes. So they're going to be a number 2 this week. I could easily see them drop down. There's a few teams like I think Boston and I think Ottawa. They could really make a play for this number 2 spot for sure. For now, Montreal's in second, and I really like what I see with Montreal. Like they got a lot of strength. They got a lot of speed. They're able to just break away fast and get into the other end and just make plays. Like if their team they're playing doesn't keep going at them, they will get away, they will get a breakaway, they will get odd man rushes, they will be able to just control the puck and take it all the way to the other end and score goals. So love what I'm seeing from Montreal. I love Montreal. They're definitely one of the funnest teams to watch. So yeah, number 2. And then number 1, easiest choice of the week this week, Minnesota. You cannot argue with results, and they have not lost a game. They have some really great players. It's cool to watch Minnesota. Grace someone go with her hat trick. Can't argue with results. There's really not much else to say. I'm curious to see, no winning streak can last forever. Or can it? I don't know with this Minnesota team. They're just so good. And, I'm looking forward to what we have in store, going forward and into the next few weeks, because, the sky's the limits for this team. Like this team and Ottawa. I don't know how the playoffs are working actually. I should probably look into that. But this team I could easily see being playing for it all. They're really, really just really good. So yeah, easiest choice of the week, Minnesota number 1. Can't wait to see what we're going to be at next week. With the small amount of teams, plenty of opportunity to play. We're going to get to see a lot of good hockey, and that's going to be so much fun, and I cannot wait. There could be a lot of movement on this list, so we'll see what happens. So that's my power rankings for this week. Now, what I want to do is I want to give you some highs and lows of the week. So here's your highs and lows of the week. I'm going to get my book out for this. I wrote this down as I watched every single one of the games. So first high of the week was the Minnesota attendance. You cannot deny how awesome it is to see these teams play in NHL arenas. And Minnesota having 13,300 and some odd players at their game in the Excel Center was a beautiful thing to see. And then again, New York playing in the same arena that the Islanders play in. Like, it's so cool. And you know what? They're selling tickets and people are watching. And it's just so great to see. It's so exciting. I think the future is bright for the PWHL. So that's my first high of the week. Second high of the week, we got to see 2 hat tricks. Grace Sumwinkle with Minnesota and Marie-Philippe Poulin with Montreal. Love to see a hat trick. Seeing these ladies score is great, and it's great hockey, and you just love to see it. Can't go wrong with a hat trick or shutout. The Ottawa-Boston game getting canceled due to bad weather, that sucked. Was really looking forward to seeing those teams play. Really did affect the schedule because we just didn't get to see those teams play. So it made personally, I felt attacked and afflicted by a loss of a game because it affected my ability to put them on the power rankings. But yeah, who wants to have a game canceled due to snow? Like, that sucks so bad. So the last high of the week is something I wanted to get into a little bit deeper, is the birth of this new league in the age of the internet. Something I think is really awesome is that everybody gets to watch the game on YouTube. They're all live streaming the games, and I think making these games really accessible to everybody that wants to watch is the way to go if you want to grow this league and get fans, get butts and seats, and get people watching. You have a lot of these leagues like the NHL, the NFL, the NBA that were all started before the internet, and so they've had to adapt as the internet has evolved and grown and become a bigger part of our lives. But these leagues that are born in the internet age, for lack of a better term, they really have to capitalize off of their ability to connect with everybody much easier. And I think that is to their advantage. You have no competitors for professional women's hockey. You have known players, like there's stars on every team, that have won gold medals in the Olympics, World Championships, and all of that. You have no other women's league to compete with. And so they have this tremendous opportunity that they seem to be really capitalizing on, getting the word out there, getting people watching the games. In Canada, you can watch it on TSN like you can watch NHL hockey. You know, there's other channels that are carrying it too. And then if you live in an area where it's broadcast on mainstream TV, and like, let's be real, most people don't have cable subscriptions. You get to watch it on YouTube. And who doesn't love YouTube? Like, I mean, we're all here right now watching it on YouTube. So I think that's so great, and it's great to see. And the PWHL is so unique because, like I said, a lot of these players are already famous. You know, you have them hitting the algorithm on Instagram with, you know, videos and stuff. And it's so cool to see that just proliferation of content that is getting into people's hands or in front of their eyes and on their screens. And then they're getting to see that. So it's so cool. It's something that I hope that the new professional women's soccer league in Canada that's going to be starting up, I really hope they are taking notes from the PWHL with how to launch this league, and maybe consult with them in when the time comes to start that. I mean, the Canadian Women's Soccer League is a little bit different because they are competing with the American League, the league in the US. So we'll see what happens with that. But I wish that league all the best too, because soccer is another great sport to watch. Yeah, so maybe one day I'll talk more about the soccer, because I think that there's a lot of interesting things going on with that women's league too. But yeah, so for now, I think those are my highs and lows of the week. Love to see more women's hockey, and love to see like the continued attendance in the arenas, and lots of people participating in the live streams on YouTube, and who knows how many people are watching on TSN and CBC. So yeah, it's great to see. And yeah, thanks for watching. Hope to see you again next week in the next Power Rankings video, where I will do something similar or totally different. We don't know. You'll have to find out. So thanks. Take care.